I'm the guy who invented the thing that's gonna take us out of this place. If you could read my mind, you would know what kind of pajamas I want when it comes to bedtime. Footy, 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 footy pajamas. Footy, 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 footy pajamas. Footy, 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 footy pajamas. They let me be what I want to be.
There's blood on my flannel, courage in my flask. Every move forward will never look back.
Okay, so here's the thing though. Like, think about this. I was thinking, okay, like, so it's like that was. Okay, I was talking about this at work the other day. Emo, especially like emo writers like that,
Yeah.
get paid to freaking complain. Like, and they say some of the most like whiny teenage angsty bullcrap, and they make money for it. And he's a 27-year-old dude. I get yelled at and made fun of if I say stuff like that. Like,
Yeah.
have you listened
But
to the
they're
new
good
Tiny
at
Moving
it.
Parts album?
Yeah.
Yeah, so freaking, no, Warm Hand Splash, how's it start? First of all, I'm sorry, disappointed enthusiast, I think I'm permanently sick. I just threw up at the thought of being honest. Like, if I say that, people are like, Marcus, grow up, what the heck? But if Dylan yells it on a stage, like, yeah, what's up? Like, that's stupid.
Well,
What the heck?
Marcus, if you had a band that was actually good, well, actually, if you even had a band, and if you wrote lyrics that were actually good, then you could get away with that. Too.
You don't know what songs I've written or not, so suck it.
Well, suck it.
You can't suck it to a suck it. That's like, you can't come back at a suck it with a suck it.
Oh, yes,
that's like the
you can.
one rule. There's like one
I'm
rule.
pretty sure
is
that's
you
not
can't
a
do
rule.
that. Yeah, it's a rule. Ian, what's this show?
This is Let Me Pitch This to You by the Imagination Warehouse. Marcus, what do we do on this show?
This is a show where me and my friend Ian gather together in front of a camera to share story ideas, essentially, but talk about an idea we had that week and pitch it to you guys.
And it's not always great.
And you guys hopefully vote to say which one you liked better.
Yeah, and you guys can leave feedback, if you want to. Send in your own ideas at letmepitchthistoyou@gmail.com. Sponsor us on Patreon. We'd love to have the money and the sponsorship. Patreon.com.
Just the money, actually.
/The Imagination Warehouse.
Oh.
You can sponsor our channel. That's pretty much it. I think there's something on Patreon where I can't remember what our reward is, but I think it's like a Google Hangouts with us.
We should freaking have this written down.
We should. I've thought about that. I'm like, every single time, I'm like, I'm going to write down our intro and our commercial break, and then I never freaking do it.
We'll get a type.
For those of you that don't watch all the way through the episode,
professional.
we'll just go ahead and say thank you, Tim Schoenfeld. For,
Hold on. For those of you who don't
theme
watch all the way through the episode, screw off. What the heck? It's not that long. It's like an hour. You have an hour in the week. You can listen to a podcast. I hate you.
That's fair. I listen to podcasts all the time at work. I mean, I don't see why people don't listen to them.
It's weird. I do this thing when I'm at work where I work and do my job instead of listening to podcasts.
Yeah, but see, I work at a computer like 50% of the time.
Nerd. Got him.
Suck it.
See, that works. Do you want to go first?
I don't think that works. Okay, my idea isn't very good. Okay, picture this. There's a prince, and
Purple rain, purple rain.
and his father's the king of this great
Okay,
land.
well, traditionally, that's how it goes.
Okay, and this prince is very high and mighty and full of an ego. He has his best friend.
Wait, he's full of an ego?
He has an ego.
Okay.
Full of himself. That's what I meant to say.
No, I was like
mixed up. Okay, it's like almost 12:30 at night.
I wasn't just being an idiot that time. Like, I was actually confused.
Okay, he has a best friend, and his father kind of lets him do whatever he wants or whatever, but tells him not to go in this, like, in the enemy's land or whatever. He does. Long story short, his father goes to save him, ends up dying. His uncle comes.
Question, are you pitching me Lion King?
Yes.
I hate you.
Can I swear on camera right now? No, I'm sorry. It's really late.
This is a trash podcast.
Okay, so that's a little bit of terrible humor to start off. Okay, no, for real, my pitch. I have kind of two ideas that aren't really hashed out. So I want you to decide. Do you want a pitch that's somewhat about like heroism? Not heroin, heroism.
Also, weird, a little bit of heroin.
Actually, yes. That's about like street fighting and superheroes and all that, but also it's very sad and dark. Or do you want a story that's somewhat like my last one? It's set like in like 1800s, and it's based off of. It's kind of actually based off of Adventures in Odyssey episode I listened to, but it's very, very sad. But it's not all the way put together, so it's not. I don't know.
Okay, so spoilers. Mine is very, very dour. I guess mine's a kind of a bummer, and some messed up stuff happens in mine.
Okay.
So if you have a more uplifting, whatever one of those is more uplifting,
okay,
do
so
that one.
That second one is a little more heartwarming. Like it's kind of.
Okay, we'll do that one then.
Okay. I kind of want to do the first one. No,
Okay.
it's fine.
Why did you give me an option?
Okay. So, I don't even know how to pitch this really because it's really kind of short. There's not a lot to it, but
It's okay. I think mine's gonna be real long, to be honest.
so it's set. I'm thinking 1800s, kind of olden time or whatever. Maybe turn of the century, but maybe not. Maybe I haven't decided. That's not set in stone. Maybe it would be modern day. Picture. There's this guy.
Gotcha.
Okay. And he's like, he's not even so much an inventor. He's a clockmaker. That's what it was. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember everything. He's a clockmaker, and so it is kind of set back in like late 1800s or whatever, you know. And his job, like, he builds like clocks for towns and villages, and he travels a lot. And he's very good at like building things and like mechanics and all that. And he has a wife, no kids, and they travel a lot. And his wife gets really sick, and they don't have a lot
Like
of
just
money.
like really cool. Like she gets like.
No, she gets like ill. And
Dude, she's just the illest. Like Iggy Azalea style.
man, we can't do this.
Drop this and let the whole world feel it. Let them feel it, Ian.
All right. Back
I
to
have a quick question.
Yes.
She's still in the murder business?
What?
It was just the next line in the Iggy Azalea song. Keep going.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
So, she falls very ill. It gets worse and worse. They see doctors, but they don't have a lot of money. And like, the doctor that she needs to see, or the treatment that she needs, they can't afford it. He doesn't make the money. So basically, I mean, in short, she dies, and he becomes really depressed. He just kind of goes off the deep end, becomes kind of a hermit. Moves to this small little village, and like no one in the town likes him. They'll, you know, kind of typical story about like the hermit in the town, and like.
Question.
Yeah.
Are you pitching me Beauty and the Beast this time?
What?
I said, are you just pitching me Beauty and the Beast?
How is that Beauty and the Beast?
Okay, weird, like, clockwork inventor guy who's good with his hands, who everybody in the town hates. All he needs to do is adopt a daughter.
Oh no!
And he's straight up just the guy from Beauty and the Beast, Ian.
No.
Hey, this is my name is Ian Lund, and here's my
I
pitch.
just pitched Disney stuff.
And here's my pitch. So this could be like this young guy, and he's an orphan, and then he starts stealing stuff. Oh, this happens on Arabian Night, and then he grows up and he finds like this cool little like lamp thing, and there's like a genie inside, and genie's like, oh, and he becomes a prince. And he falls on, but then there's like an evil guy who has like a weird parrot thing.
All right.
That's Aladdin, in case you didn't put it together.
You done, Marcus?
Yeah, sorry.
Frick that. So, anyway, he's. See, now I totally lost my train of thought. Anyway, and there's this kid, and this kid somehow becomes friends with him, and this kid discovers that this guy's really good at kind of building, and it's kind of like when Marty McFly goes into Doc's and he's got like all these like cool inventions, and they kind of have like that special friendship. It kind of turns into something like that, and so this guy like kind of starts like realizing really has nothing in life. He's like, if he can make this kid happy, and so he starts like using his like background in mechanics and stuff. He starts like building toys and stuff, and like little trinkets for this kid or whatever to kind of make him happy. And then long story short, this kid or this guy, he kind of becomes known as like almost like a toy maker. And like the idea spawned from Adventures in Odyssey episode where Mr. Washington, like he like builds toys for like the kids and he like starts his company. Anyway, and so this guy he starts like building all these things for like people in the town and like building this, you know, kind of like starting to like get back, you know, not so depressed. But it all revolves around like his bond with this kid. And then this kid gets sick and dies. And he kind of like starts to want to go off the deep end, but then he starts to realize that like, you know, he could actually still help out more people. And that's kind of it. And it kind of just turns into this heartwarming story about like this guy who like kind of like helps out this village that doesn't have a whole lot, and like he starts building things for them. And anyway, that's kind of it. It's not really hashed out, but I mean it's late and stuff.
I enjoyed it.
Like
I feel like it'd be like anything to add.
Like just kind of like a short novel or short film. Anyway.
Yeah, like I don't have anything to add, but like I enjoyed it. Like it's like that's a nice story. It ends like it's a little sour, a little dour, but like
just like kind of a heartwarming story. Yeah.
Did I say sour?
Yeah.
Did I say it was sour? Oh boy, it is so late in nighttime, Ian.
Hey, you're the one that had to cancel and reschedule.
Screw
I was
me,
literally at your house and you're like, I'm caught up at work. By the way, how did that other podcast go too that you also had to push back late?
Oh no, that one was great. It went smooth. It was real fun.
Cool. What was that called again?
Worth the Hype.
Worth the Hype. So you should check that out. Oh wait, it's not posted yet. You should get on that.
It's not on me. It's up to Joe.
Anyway, so that's my pitch. Let's take a commercial break.
Patreon.
Go ahead. It'll be in the description below. You can email us. Sorry, this is kind of going to be a short episode. It's late.
Dude, my pitch is long.
Oh, is yours going to be long? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Shoot me.
I don't feel so bad now because mine like was very ill prepared.
So we're not gonna have a 15-minute episode.
That's pretty much all we got for the commercial break. Go check out our other content.
Did you? First of all, did you get your music podcast up?
No, I'm gonna try to do that this week. But you can check that out.
I think there's also another stand-up that you have that we can post.
I keep forgetting that I still have one more stand-up.
It's cool. I also need to record another one.
We'll get that
okay, I'll tell you what. Promise this week though. Everything's gonna start coming out.
All right.
Like we're gonna get all 3 shows out this week.
All right. All 3 shows, like your comedy, music podcast, and this show.
Yeah.
And then how about With the Hype?
We'll get the first episode Worth the Hype out.
All right. Sounds good.
On the channel, all 4 of them, firing all
4
cylinders.
episodes. That's a promise.
Like straight up, all 4 will be out.
All right.
This week, we'll get them all up.
Cool.
Okay, my pitch.
Go for it.
Oh boy. Okay, so like I don't know if this has been done before or like something like it. I'm sure like similar-ish things have happened and stuff. But mine's kind of dark and really messed up. So imagine like a legend that like you would hear. I was like, so you know how like D.B. Cooper, like we talked about that on the episode with Mac and stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, it's cold. I forget how cold it is in my basement.
Yeah.
And stuff like legends of shoot, my phone locked out. You hear about like these thieves and legends and stuff that kind of build around them and stuff. So imagine like a legend like that, but like from like freaking the Roman, like when Rome was in power and stuff, like a legend of a thief like that. But it's about a man who is like not an attractive guy, not physically appealing and like in any way. He's not like tall, he's not fast, he's not strong.
Are you pitching yourself here?
Yeah, no. Okay. Yeah, but like if I'm in Roman times. No, but he realized one day that, like, the most powerful thing in the whole world is concepts, ideas, and words, and information. Like, the most powerful thing isn't the fact that I can beat you in a physical fight as much as if I have the information and the ability to talk and communicate and use words as power. Like, knowledge and words as power. He's like, that's the most powerful thing in the whole world.
Okay.
And he had this theory, and he was, if nothing else, clever and persistent. And he became known as the silver-tongued thief because he was so charismatic and charming and quick-witted and good with words that he would swindle and essentially became like a con man that was just known throughout the land, where that he would steal from kings and emperors and trick armies into fighting themselves before they would even get close to catching him.
Interesting.
And all these things. And it sort of became theatrical to him. Like, it was all a show that he would do, and he realized that, like, hey, like, I'm not an attractive dude, but...
Quick question, is he kind of like a psychopath type of thing? Like, as far as when you say, like, it becomes like a show, like, kind of like how, like, when the Joker murders people, he makes it this big old elaborate...
Yes, but not like in like a murdery, gross way. More like a...
Like,
he gets
look
a
at
thrill
me,
out
look
of
at
it.
What I can, okay.
Yeah, like he's just like it gets more theatrical and more like in your face. Like, I talked you in and tricked you with words essentially, and stole all of your money. And I didn't have to fight you. I didn't have to threaten you. I didn't have to do anything. Like, he's like, I have all of your money, and literally when I left your house, you shook my hand and were smiling, like as I walked away, because I tricked you. Like,
so kind of like Pierre Desprez in Psych, where like he.
Yeah. Very much like that kind of esque thing, right?
Yeah.
But he starts to get more theatrical with it, and he meets a girl. And like so many other famous people in history, he falls in love, right?
Okay.
And he does his one last score, and they go and they settle down together. And they have a son. And the son is a lot like the dad in a lot of ways, but he's much more shy and introverted, and obviously the biggest strength of the dad was the fact that he was outgoing and so quick-witted and charismatic that he was smart and fast and clever with words. So the wife was kind of mean and angry about how spineless. She referred to her son as spineless. So she said, "Hey, I know you put this life behind you, but you need to teach him how to be manipulative. You need to teach our son how to do these things to people and do that so he can understand and
make it in the world.
Like,
okay.
He can have power even and not be so spineless, right? Because he's not big, he's not strong, he's weak, he's just a sickly person."
Okay.
And as he starts to teach his son this, his son picks up quickly, but he's always asking his father for more tips, and the tips start to get weirder and how to trick people into doing other things and manipulate people in this way and that way, and it starts to get grosser in the sense of like hurting people. How do you trick people into like hurting each other and murder and things like that? And he realizes, like, I shouldn't be teaching my son this, but his son, starting from such a young age and being so into it, eventually becomes better than his dad at it. And shortly thereafter, he plants the idea in his mom's head about, do you even love Dad? Or did Dad manipulate you into thinking you love him? And over time, convinces his mom to murder-suicide herself and the husband. And he realizes, and this boy, he's like, you could run the world with information and words if you know how to say the right things to the right people.
Okay.
And thus goes out on a mission to run the world as a silver-tongued person, so to speak.
Yeah.
and he starts a guild and picks up his own apprentice.
But more of like in like a murderous type way, like what he did to his parents.
Well, he thinks that it's like the all-powerful thing. It's he would argue that words are the deadliest weapon. Flash forward to a kid sitting in a high school class learning about this legend, right? Like it's just in a history class. Like this is a thing.
So this isn't okay.
Legend happened. No, it's not all back in time. No. So this kid's name's James, and shortly thereafter you see like you all went like a back and forth. Like you see some of the legend, and then you see some of James in class. You see some more of the legend, some of James in class, and then kind of James going throughout the school day. And then you see James getting in sort of a shouting match with a much bigger boy named Derek. Derek being a high school quarterback, and Derek yelling at James for making out with his girlfriend under the bleachers. And sort of you see James just turn and smile at Derek and he starts to talk to him, and they have a conversation. And by the end of this conversation, what turned into somebody literally cheating on you.
Derek goes and kills himself.
No.
Okay.
They'll be friends. He has his arm around Derek. He has his arm around Derek's girlfriend. They all walk away laughing, having a good time. And then I want some like narration to kick in and be like James is the worst. He's arrogant. He's cocky. He's the worst kind of teenager that you would ever imagine. But if nothing else, he is just the most charismatic, like, charming young man. Like, you realize he's such an idiot. You realize he's, like, such a D-bag. But he's just so, like, witty and funny and clever.
Yeah.
That, like, you can't help but like him. And shortly as he kind of gets himself out of these situations, he starts to realize that, like, a van's following him. Or he thinks a van's following him. And he starts to keep an eye out for it, and over time he realizes, hey, it's for sure following me. And he's arrogant, right? So he's like, I've never gotten into a situation I couldn't talk my way out of. So he just walks up to a van that he is 100% sure at this point is following him. And he knocks on the door of the van, and they open up, and for the first time in his whole life having a conversation with these four men inside this van, he feels out of place and awkward. These people they're talking, and he's not understanding, and they're saying things that seem like gibberish, and he's trying to communicate back with them and just can't. It's the first time that speaking to another human being didn't feel natural.
Okay.
To him. It didn't feel like he, in a way, was in charge of the conversation, in charge of the situation. And he's never felt that before. And he then hears one of them say something about, I told you the kid couldn't cut it. And another one arguing, and eventually he hears them ask, it's a kid, why did you come to the van? Like, you knew we were following you, but you didn't call the cops or anything. You came to the van and talked to us. Why? And James, he tells him, he's like, I've never been in a situation I couldn't communicate and trick or swindle, essentially, or just be charismatic my way out of. And one of them, he's like, he says, at the very least, we need to give him a shot. He realizes also the one thing that all these four dudes have in common. They have a tattoo somewhere on their body of what looks like a silver tongue. Over the next few days, he kind of meets up with these guys, and they take him to like this huge office building in the city. So I want him to live like in like some suburbs, like right outside of like New York. Okay. So like he can go visit New York, but he's kind of like in the suburbs, like where he lives.
Rocking the suburbs.
Just like Michael Jackson did. Rocking the suburbs. Except that he was talented. I like pinfolds. So he starts to like meet this guy, and he also becomes friends like with the janitor. Like he like walks by the janitor's like, hey. And James' name is Jim. He's James. I like the same name, like hey Jim, and stuff. And he kind of gets there, and this guy tells him about the opportunity he has over the next few days. He said, you're quick-witted and you're charming and you're charismatic and all these things, and he said that is the most dangerous thing in the whole world. He's like, you as a person are born with these natural gifts to be a force to be reckoned with. He's like, I know you think I'm not strong, I'm not fast, I'm not these things, but he's like, that doesn't matter.
Okay.
And James eventually agrees, and this guy tells him that he's like, you're gonna be my apprentice, and he's like, and you're gonna have to do things that are hard and it's tough, but these are things that you'll learn and you'll need to know how to do, but if you do these things you can become so much more in life. And shortly thereafter he finds himself waking up in a prison with just like the worst kind of humans around him, and he's like in a cell essentially. Think of like a grid pattern, so there's 9 cells total, so there's like 3 on top, 3 in the middle, 3 on the bottom, and he's in the middle cell, so he's surrounded by these people, and he can see the rap sheets on them, and like they're like freaking like one guy like raped a child, like they're like the worst people, and they're just hounding him non-stop day and night, and he doesn't know what's going on. Like he agreed to be in the Silver Tongues, or to be an apprentice. I didn't see him, and he starts to go crazy, and he's like not sleeping because he's just trapped in the cell, and like food drops from the ceiling every now and then for them, but like just non-stop, and eventually he just can't stand it anymore. And sort of slowly but surely he starts to talk to these people around him. And
how does he get out of school then?
He just is abducted.
Okay.
Like he says like, yeah, I'll be a part of this, and like when he goes to leave, so like he just passes out and wakes up in a cell.
Okay.
And his parents don't know where he is or anything. And as he's talking to these men, they're still just hounding him like non-stop, and if he gets too close to the bars they're like grabbing at him and stuff, and he starts to talk to one, and this one seems more fragile than the others. And after a few days of talking to him and them all hounding him and him not being able to handle this many people just saying the worst things to him non-stop, that fragile one that he was talking to hangs himself. And then a few days later, you see on some footage, he starts to buddy up with another guy and slits his wrists. And slowly but surely, all these people in these cells kill themselves after talking to James. And then the man that James has been speaking with, named Alexander, like in the skyscraper and like the big office building type thing, comes to him and he's like, that's a skill you need to know how to do. And James is like, it's gross. He's like, I couldn't handle it, so I convinced them to kill themselves. I convinced them it was a good idea. And he's like, that's murder, like that's gross of me. And he's like, you didn't do anything to them, James. He's like, you spoke to somebody. He's like, we live in America. The greatest thing in this country is free speech. You can say what you want to any human. Doesn't matter. He's like, you didn't do anything to them. And James is like, I did though. I talked to them, and I'm responsible. Am I not? And Alexander's like, no, of course you're not responsible. Like, no, you talked to somebody and they made choices. Like, how can that blow back on you? And James feels just horrible at the situation, but he's like, I'm in too deep. And sort of goes through deep, and I'm trying, and he goes through like the sort of rigmarole of these other tests, of similar things, of just talking and communicating and manipulating people into doing this and that. And they get more drastic and dramatic and difficult to keep track of in your head because a lot of moving parts and a lot of lies and a lot of information. And over time, it gets too much, and he feels too gross about himself as a person anymore.
Okay.
And he leaves. He's like, I'm out. And then spends the next years of his life training after all. So, like, he was declared dead. Like, he was gone. Declared dead for, like, because he was gone for, like, 2 years. And he comes back, and he thinks that he's going to give up lying, but he sees his parents again, and everybody's asking him where he was and what he's been doing. He's like, I can't tell the truth. He's like, nah, I'm not a good person anymore. Like, so he starts to lie again and make up stories and things about where he was, but he's good at it, so people believe him. And then he's like, I'm trying to remember. I'm gonna look real quick. I'm trying to do a lot of it from memory.
Is this a movie or a book?
Movie.
Okay. So we do a movie. Okay.
Or a book. I think it's pretty good. But shortly thereafter, as he's sort of he's trying to become an FBI agent. He sees what's it called? Somebody get elected into the Supreme Court. Excuse me. But he notices on their neck a little bit peeking out what looks to be a silver tongue on the Supreme Court. And then he's like, oh no. Like, these manipulative people who have seemed to be able to do anything when talking to somebody are here. So he then kind of goes on like this manhunt conspiracy to find these people in the government who are in the Silver Tongue organization, and he goes to find Alexander again, and it becomes like this manhunt of him hunting down this, but also highlighting the fact that words are powerful in a way, and finding Alexander and killing Alexander, and then it not being right, like Alexander, like it not ending with Alexander, and you find out that all along the big bad, the boss, essentially, if you want to think about it that way, was Jim, was the janitor. And he talks, he's like, well, nobody notices me, and he's like, and written word is just as good as spoken word, and he's like, I gave Alexander all of like his paperwork and notes and things, like he can't keep track of the whole organization by himself, and I would take care of a lot of the paperwork and give it to him and control the information that he saw, and it's me. He's like, I'm the big bad, and like he of course takes him down eventually, but I want the whole idea of like choice and being affected by what's around you, but it's also like, at the end of the day, you make the choices that you make, and other people aren't responsible for the decisions and things that you do with your life.
Yeah. So
like, I want that like to be in play, but also like this whole manipulative story about people who are just very, very charismatic in a way, to like when they ask you to do something, you just want to do it.
Yeah. So James is then like a good guy, or is he still kind of like does he ever really figure out morality, like his own morality?
More or less.
Okay.
I mean, he's technically in the FBI, but he's using that ability to sneak around inside the FBI to hunt down an evil organization in the government.
Yeah. Now, is this Silver Tongue organization like ancestors?
Yeah, it all started from the original kid. Yeah.
Interesting. See, I thought this was just going to be about that original kid. Because I think that would be a cool book, honestly, just about, like, especially set in, like, the olden times with, like, someone doing that, just being, like, that kind of person and, like, stealing from kings and, like, you know, starting and ending wars and that kind of stuff. And, like, that'd be kind of interesting. But, no, that's cool. I think it'd be cool, like, to have, like, a book about, like, the original legend, like, the father, the original Silver Tongue thief. then his son, and then about this kid James. I don't know. I'm a fan of it. Last week you told me like you were like very pumped up when I gave my pitch and told my story. I'm very much that way. Like I was like on the edge of my seat during that. That was very entertaining.
I worked a lot on it recently. Like,
Really?
I was real nervous about it. Like, again, like I feel like it could have been done, or it's a little overplayed. Like, I don't know. Like this one just feels weird to me. But like, this is one of those stories I was like, I would be very into this story, and I don't know if other people would.
Oh, dude,
I would be very into the story. So
I think you should write it down. Like, I think there's a lot of
quite a few
information
notes on here
that we should like write down. Yeah,
I mean, we have it in video. It's on archive.
that's fair. But I mean, like, if you wrote that as a book or as a comic book or something, like, I would read it. I'd be a fan.
I think the biggest struggle there is you then have to write very charismatic, charming people, and I don't even know if I would consider myself to be one of those.
But
so
see,
I think
that's
that'd be really
where,
hard
like,
to do.
I feel like even though
But-
like neither of us are really that kind of person, you could kind of like that might even put an interesting spin on writing a person like that. You know. I don't know. I think that's a cool name too, like Silver Tongue Thief. Like, is that like what he'd be called, or is that kind of?
That's what the original thief would be called, and then like the kid would start.
Yeah.
It's the Silver Tongue.
So now, like, would this kid, like, then start doing this? Like, as soon as he takes on this organization, is he going to be done, or is he going to be then considered like the new Silver Tongue
The
Thief?
story
And, like,
ends there.
and like, and he starts doing that. Like, he starts taking that. He becomes like a. I don't even want to say superhero because that kind of takes a totally different turn, but almost like a.
I like the idea of him struggling with the legality of manipulating people in the FBI. So like he would keep his FBI job and he'd still be a good guy per se, but also struggle with the idea of sort of having the ability and being so charming and knowing how to manipulate so well.
Yeah.
That
Yeah, I only ask because I think it'd be cool that, like, this sounds like a cool backstory to like a, you know, a potential superhero, you know, like, and I think like someone like a hero who doesn't have powers, but his powers literally manipulate people. Sounds kind of
like it's not like a power. He's just so
Yeah, he's
good.
just good,
Yeah. I don't know. I think
know.
it's an interesting story. I would be
I like
interested in it.
I am definitely a fan of it. That's
Thank
cool.
you. Like I don't have like, and I feel like the coolest thing about this one, it's a lot more idea and story based than most of my stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's a lot less like there's these really interesting characters and let's just learn about them. And like there's like a lot of that in it, but like there's still like a plot to this one.
Yeah.
And like an overarching like theme of like morality and stuff.
Yeah.
So like it's a different story than what I usually pitch, but I would be interested in it. So
Mm-hmm. That's cool.
thank you.
Um,
We can wrap
I
up
guess
the
is
show
that
if
it?
you don't have a question. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe on YouTube. Find us on Facebook, Instagram,
I don't know what you said, but it wasn't Instagram.
Twitter.
The Tweeter. We're on Tweeters. Thank you, Tim Schoenfeld,
Snap,
again.
Snap spam.
Snapcam.
Pine trees.
Lit, high key, extra. I'm just trying to think of other slang words.
Yeah. No, yeah, follow us. Send in your own ideas for when we do the grab bag. If you'd be interested in being on the show, I mean, we haven't really talked about that, but like if you want to, you know, let us know. We'd love to hear other people's ideas. And yeah, thanks for watching. Ready?
Yeah, hold on. Blooper. We got an M-Cubed finally again.
Yes.
Like this is like for real one of my favorite bits that we ever like. I really enjoyed the whole like delayed communication with Matt.
Yeah.
Through these, like I really enjoy that, and like I get it. He's probably been busy. I don't know, and stuff. Like he has a life, so
Yeah.
like no like hard feelings or anything. But like I didn't even realize we got another one. I'm so pumped about this. I haven't read it yet.
Yeah, my phone's being weird and it won't load the entire comment. So if you want to go ahead and read it.
No, you read till you run out.
No, like it was literally like
Okay.
2 lines. I already closed it on
Okay.
my phone. Sorry, man.
I got this. We're good.
All right. Wait. Make sure you speak extra loud when he talks about mine. And then when he talks about yours, just kind of murmur it, whatever. Just kind of like...
Unless he says mine's really good, I don't actually know. Okay, so I missed out on the whole Vine craze, and then in parentheses he's like, was there a Vine craze? But
Matt, you're old.
Got him! Roasted!
These nuts? Got it! That was funny. Not to laugh at my own joke.
But I did a quick Google search and found out the Twitter launched a webpage where you can search Vines, old videos, archives. I don't think it actually hurts your pitch at all, but maybe after your big reveal, after your big reveal that they're trying to recover. No, I can't read. I can speak fine. Trying to recover their old Vines. Someone could just pull up Google to show. Oh, that's actually good. It's a bit overkill. To do all of this
I thought that was
to get their Vines back. That's pretty good,
like
actually.
someone like gets like a note, they look it up, they're like, guys, they're right there. Yeah.
But it's also completely unnecessary. You'd have to play with the comedic timing a bit, but I think you could really work it out. I do really like the heist setup for a comedic payoff idea. And then he says, for Ian's pitch, I really like the build-up for Ian's pitch. I was getting a strong H.P. Lovecraft vibe, kind of similar to The Nameless City. I don't know anything about this
I don't
dude.
know that.
Besides, like, anyway, or even The Call of Cthulhu. It's weird and dark and interesting, like reveal Nirvana? No, I can't read that. I don't know why I guessed Nirvana, though. I literally just saw an N. I was like, oh, that has to be Nirvana. That's the only word.
Every N-word ever is Nirvana. Dude, did you just say the N-word on the show?
That's what you did. For what it's worth, I think it makes a lot of sense for you, the author, to have a backstory plotted out for this vampire girl, but it might not be necessary to actually reveal it or put it in the book. Having a backstory gives you a baseline for constricting yourself later on, but what you reveal the reader should depend entirely on what makes the story flow better. I do have one thought for your show. You sometimes have weak points where one of you has pitched something and the other doesn't really have anything to say. I'm thinking you might benefit from more pre-show preparation here. Maybe you submit your pitches to each other in advance, like a day or two. See, this is a thing that, like, we've sort of talked about. We'll get into it. Hold on.
Yeah.
In a day or two. So that you can each be ready with a few questions, ideas to bounce back at each other. It might remove some spontaneity.
Yeah.
Sorry, I lost my line. Spontaneity, but I think overall it would help your show flow better. Maybe worth experimenting with. Yeah, I don't know. Like,
I've thought about that. Like preparation. We do need a little bit more preparation. But.
Like, I think like preparation behind it, like just like in general. But we've talked about, like, as a thing, actively trying not to. Well, like, one, Ian don't have to have notes ever for this to work, and Ian never has notes. I almost always do. Whether I actually,
you know what's funny? I always
read it,
carry a notebook on me. Like always, I have this little pocket notebook. I always have on me.
Whether I actually like read it in the episode or not, like in the week, throughout the week, I am writing notes.
And I do that too. I just don't know.
do?
I write like all my ideas. I write down. I just don't always have them on the show because I don't want to be reading on the show. To me, that's awkward.
Yeah.
So that was my thing with that. But if we did that, I would do that.
Yeah, I think like I don't know. We can try it for next week for sure. Like, we'll give it a shot because, like, you're not wrong. Sometimes, like, I don't know what to say. Besides, I really liked it.
Yeah.
And then we just, like, sit here. My voice cracked. Whoops. I promise I'm 20.
No, you're really 12.
I'm really, yeah.
I'm a 20-year-old hanging out with a 12-year-old kid.
I'm really a 13 years old. Got him.
These nuts.
You know. So,
yeah.
like, we can experiment with that. I hope it doesn't take out the magic, though, because I think, like, one of my personal favorite parts of recording the show, like, just for me, is, like, not knowing what you're going to say.
Really?
Yeah, like, I really, really enjoy the whole being kept in the dark and discovering. Like last week, I think, like, we'll experiment and figure it out, but, like, I think the magic of, like, well, I guess not last week, because we missed a week or whatever, but last episode, like, the magic of your, like, story, I think.
Yeah.
I'd have a harder time getting wrapped up in your story.
If you knew it.
if I read it beforehand.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know. We will try it out because he's not wrong. Like, that is a fair criticism, and he did present a solution to it. So
Yeah, and like something I've thought about too, where that would actually work, where we knew the story ahead of time, is like we each have pitched our own ideas, but it kind of has turned into less of a like me versus you and more of a collaborative thing. And like Matt and Jeremy and some of our other diehard fans have commented and said like they really like when we collaborate and all that. So like I actually thought about if we just had one idea, like we brought one idea to the table and we hashed it out instead of having two, if that made sense. And like maybe even do something where we have a guest on the show and like we have like ahead of time we all come up with an idea. We come up with one idea, and then that one idea gets put on the table, and we hash it out. It's like okay,
we write it out and put it on the table.
Put it on the table.
And the podcast is just
we tabled the idea.
Cut. Boom. Cut it.
But yeah, and then just like hash it out. How would this work? So I feel, and that's like just another thought too, as far as like preparation and knowing ahead of time.
Yeah, we can figure it out.
So
But, like,
yeah,
fair critique to say the least. But
there's definitely stuff we could do. Like we talked about, we just said how like scripting there are commercial breaks that are
scripting anything. Like we don't have to script anything.
But just
like an outline. Like we know this is what we want to talk about in the intro. Like the intro bit is this. The commercial break is this. These are the points we need to hit here. Like just like.
Eventually we'll have a real commercial break.
To make it run smooth.
Where we'll be like, all right, we're going to take a commercial break. We'll wave goodbye, cut. There'll be a little commercial video, and then it'll come back.
Don't do drugs.
That's going to be on there. That's going to be on there now.
We can call it. Like, listen to the show. Thanks, Matt, for like giving us like an M cube. Like, I freaking like legitimately do. Like, that's one of my favorite parts of the show.
Is the M cube?
Yeah, it's like I really just like reading that and learning about it and stuff.
Well, Matt has good insight too. You know, he's read a lot of stuff.
Also, I'm a big fan of like Matt was like, here's a problem I think you guys kind of have with your show. Here's a potential solution. Like, it was like the most fair way to ever give a critique about anything. It was like, here's a thing that I think like you guys could work on. Here's a possible solution to work on that.
Yeah.
Like, so thanks for being like really cool about even like saying do better.
Not saying you guys suck.
Yeah, because like you guys suck doesn't really tell us how to get better. But yeah, so thank you. Appreciate it.
It's the end of the show.
Are we gonna double tap again?
Sure. I don't know. Wait. We gotta do finger guns.
No, I hate finger. Dude, I hate it.
Do finger guns all episode. I just ruined it.
It's such a bad look.
Why?
I don't know. I think finger guns look so stupid though.
They do, but they're fun, especially if you do that.
No! That makes it so much worse.
It just is like D-baggy.
And then you wink it like a little bit. I'm leaving. We're upstairs. It's freaking cold.
Okay. That's the show, people.
When